Alright, so we could use English subtitles, as most of my viewers are English speaking and or reading. Or we could all practice our Japanese. What do y'all think about that one? I think we're all gonna tsukurin to biku bikudasai. We'll do it. I have, but it's been a long time. But should I just say yes anyways? I should probably say yes. It's not like I've... I'll just put yes. It's been a while, but I'll put yes. Tell the computer. I'm just gonna count down because it's almost 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Gotcha. Surprised they can't just access my computer clock. Alright. So for those of you who've never played Stanley Parable, pretty normal game. You just work in an office job. That's basically it. You'll see. We'll just start.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
That's right.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what
uses one
buttons
finger
push,
to type,
how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
As you see, the game
and then
glitched.
One day, something very
Didn't load
peculiar
in.
happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow.
Took him an hour.
No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
What Stanley didn't realize is that it was the weekend, and he had the day off. It was a holiday even. Okay, so where's Stanley? Why is it acting like I'm typing on the computer? Wait. No, seriously, we disabled it. Awarded for getting any of the other achievement as your first. Wait, Wait, why is right click walk and left click is jump? It makes like a click noise when I press left. That's different. I don't remember that. How strange.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Did I turn that off?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
I like work, I just hate my boss. Yeah, I don't remember being able to interact with doors and stuff like that. This must be newly added. Surname access.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, the narrator said we went
Yet
left.
there was not a single person.
I wouldn't
there
want to
either.
contradict him, that'd be
Feeling a
rude.
wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
This box is too small. Everyone is unique, you most of all. Rate at which charts on the same slide depict the same information. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please no more charts, please unbig and stop. Boss appreciation minute. Solving interpersonal conflict. It takes 2 people to start a fight. Right now you're both of them. Dreams for the future. Metamorphosis. Come on.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Executive bathroom. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Wow. Extreme bathroom. What a nice little personal bath. Has soap. This is where his secretary would be normally, I'm guessing. Hostile takeovers, the new biannual percentage.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Yeah, how would I know that?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Two, 845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
I guess
Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Whoa. This is what our boss was hiding the whole time. The Walter parable. It just looks like... Well, that looks like death. I go... Oh, we might not have a choice. Oh wait, there's a floor here. You just can't see it.
Deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Uh-oh.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Why did Stanley do that? Oh, I can't use it again. Right?
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Uh-oh, it's so dark back there. Anyways.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again.
Hello,
Ladies and
fire
gentlemen,
damage.
how does he keep
Do I
coming up
remember
with all
you?
this?
Let's see, what was the last stream you were on? I believe it was
Surely
all the way
this
back
time Stanley will walk
in
forward into the spooky
1987.
corridor, won't he? Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Hey look, mind control facility. Escape.
lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
This looks familiar.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
The strength.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
We're 274, I think. No, we're 427? We're 4 something. Because I remember it started with 4. Does anyone remember what employee number we were? It was 400 something, but I can't remember. I think it might have been 427. Kind of looks like our office like this.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Nah, not me.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Once and for all. Have I watched Everybody Loves Raymond? Oh, a long time ago. Deborah! Deborah! Raymond, it's me, your brother Robert. We need to put an end to this madness.
And when at last he found...
We did it. We saved the world.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
I remember the first time I got this ending, I thought the joke was going to be that the
Stanley
wall
felt the
didn't
cool
drop
breeze
far
upon
enough
his
down
skin,
and you couldn't get
the
over it,
feeling of liberation,
since there's no
the
jump
immense
button.
possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I did it! I got the good ending. I did it, guys. I speed ran the game. First try. Oh, it was 427.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But I beat the game.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't know what else they would want from me.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
The heck? They can't do this to me.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
I thought you said you didn't want me to be in a rush. Oh, now he doesn't care? Alright, I see how it is. Beep. I hit that button like 4 or 5 times.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, we don't want that, do we?
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. The opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I don't remember this from the original. Oh.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Actually,
Stanley
I
can't see
think
the
this
big
seems
picture.
familiar.
He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Oh.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Why'd the narrator...
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
You know, this makes... I want to play the original, the very original Stanley Parable, which was like a Half-Life mod, I think. I remember playing that one years ago. Crows, crows, crows. Someone was playing solitaire. The first two doors was the original fork. The whole rest of the game was designed around. Hey, it's my... It's like a Stanley Parable museum.
Stanley pushed the big red button. Where were all of his co-workers? Oh, I don't know. How about they're throwing a surprise party for him for all his button pushing? Does that sound plausible to you? Walked over the bridge. Then he pushed the number 4. Oh, for crying... Is this that other building? Then he pushed the number 8.
Can't hear them anymore.
When Stanley came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility to end this injustice forever.
looks exactly the same. Oh wait, no it doesn't. They added a desk lamp. Made his desk bigger too. Now there's a yellow box on it. Warzone. Early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and would wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it that it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Well, some people interpret it as making fun of people who like shooters, which was not our intention. That would have been amazing. If it just was an actual like little mini campaign where there was gameplay to it. I guess it's time to flip that switch. From Michael M. How do you make a JRPG? Oh, well. Michael M. would want to know how to make a JRPG. Are you a rock? $111, 2800. The apartment type. Hmm. Ooh. I want to pull a big lever. Hmm. Can't believe we got the behind the scene endings as the very second ending after like the most basic ending. We had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Very few players realize this is what they were supposed to. There was stuff on those screens from far away, now they're not anymore. There you go. What the heck? Hang on, maybe it just comes up once in a while. Alright. Time to go flip that switch. I can find it again. Hang on. There we go.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
No.
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save
What the
those
heck?
two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you.
I wonder if I should quit right here. What do you think? Should we quit or should we let it play out? Alright, we'll let it play out.
Don't let
Hey. You tricked me. That was the bad ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content? That's new.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Well, we got a refresher on some of the base game endings. I'm curious now. Because I do think I've done those two endings before in the base game. I think the behind the scenes ending had some more added to it though. This is apparently brand new.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
You're welcome.
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Neat.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Yay.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
But that low texture rocks. We haven't.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we
there it
go.
goes.
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, oh, okay. Let's see the content.
It just
Give me
started.
the content, Stanley.
It just started, narrator. Give him a chance. The jump circle.
All right, let's see. It's the jump
We
circle.
can jump when we're inside the circle? Wow, we can jump. It's a miracle. We're gonna use up all our jumps. This way. Like I can jump while ducking to not jump. No, I'm out of jumps. Who designed this?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
Another elevator?
Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Very
Here we
good.
go.
Yes, I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
One moment. Let's see here. To the rest of this new content. What?
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar.
That was
And don't get me
it?
started on
The
the level
jump
of
circle?
craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
Get them.
It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game, and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Oh, he force restarted me. Whoa. This is already different. Hmm.
Psst! Stanley! Come over here! In the vent! I want to show you something!
Why is the...
You don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dog. Oh, never mind. You're not a dog.
Why is the narrator helping me now, suddenly? I thought he was always against me. Hey Eric, what's up? Like does, because if you put in twitter.com and hit enter,
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it.
whoa,
Just our little secret. Take a look.
whoa, what is this?
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the
Oh, that's
game
cool,
originally
Eric.
launched?
Was it good?
Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
Well, look at all these
Oh,
awards they
waste.
got. The British Academy of Film and Television Arts awarded to... Wait a second. That one seems a little off. They have postcards. The original remake. Good times. The soundtrack? The first dollar? Oh, that's right, don't play for 5 years. I think I could get that achievement on the original because I haven't played it in so long. Unachievable. Wow, that's cool. Two and 3 ramps the difficulty up? Oh, damn. I think I remember that ending. You go crazy and run around in a circle till you pass out. Gosh, what a nice place. The heck? Little Stanley.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives, and then
It's true, Eric.
to be
You have
every
to not
game
play the game
ever
for
created.
5 years to
Did
get
you hear
one of the
that, Stanley?
achievements.
Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no
Wow.
games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Well, how would changing your computer's calendar affect? I think it's based on Steam, isn't it? Because Steam keeps track of the last time you played a game. It actually tells you, like, the last time you played a game was, like, 6 months ago or 3 years ago. I think they base it off of that, not your computer clock.
Here's another moving passage,
Source.
this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
I guess you're right, Mr. Narrator.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back to have it all over again.
How come they never mention the original
Wait.
mod?
Hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
Old drinks. Whoa.
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Not the Steam reviews.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art.
Oh my
I suppose I
gosh.
could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical
Hey, 00,
insights
what's
that I
up?
can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
It's a game where we're currently looking at reviews of the game that we're playing. That's what this game is.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh, I'm sure it's not that bad.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button.
Oof.
A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley.
Whoa.
That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Is there a J review in here somewhere? That's the skip button.
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story, and the choices, or what have you, and therefore, by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably, we all until the end of time, at which time, everything all at once, so, now you see, blah, 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 blah.
Everything
blah,
all at
blah,
once,
blah,
that's a
blah, blah.
movie.
We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245.
that the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say, the story and the choices.
Oh, it
all
repeats.
have you, and therefore, by becoming it is. So on and so forth, until...
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30,
Whoa, the door's
45
gone.
minutes. It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone.
I noticed.
I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time, just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've... Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year.
Oh.
Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley.
Poor guy.
Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike any...
Uh-oh. How long has it been? I did beat the game, but Duskus insisted that I get the bad ending next. Oh. Doing that. Stop beeping.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability, it's the unwillingness to examine with an
Uh-oh. Not giving me the option to press it again. Oh, wait.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the
Whoa. Place is starting to fall apart. Nature is healing. Oh no, nature died. Whoa. Everything's tilted. Whoa. Uh-oh. May have made a mistake. Oh, the button's broken. Alright, I guess that was an ending. We'll call that good ending number 2.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hey, look, new content. What the heck? New content.
Oh, good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Hang on, we have new content.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
What? Sequel? I don't think I'm ready for the sequel.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Here's the posters. Taste the sequel. It's just true, Gobble.
Calling it the Stanley
true.
Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
You
But
said under the
Stanley
bed? Which
Parable
bed?
2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
If Suda's so good, how come there's no Suda? Oh god. Let's see. Wait. Here we go. Oh, this really is Stanley Parable 2. Look at all these new assets. New content is out. New content part 2 is in. Old and busted versus new hotness. Well, all of these statistics make sense to me. They're back. 2 doors. ESP? What is TSP?
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than
This
anything
is the new
scientific or
protagonist?
logical, really.
Oh, the Stanley Parable. Wow, I'm dumb. What's TSP? Gosh. I've never seen it abbreviated like that, to be fair. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. What the heck? There's a bus? There's a little theater room? An ultra widescreen. It's like the red carpet.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Whoa. No, wait, the button that says the name of the player that is playing the game. So this is literally like them, like, it said it was an investor's showcase for Stanley Parable 2, so they're basically selling the game to us.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that
No way.
wonderful?
That can't be true. says the name of the play. Like it actually says it? Let's see. There's no way.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in
It was
the
so
final
close
game,
to
this
my
button
name.
will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's
I
take
guess
a
I'm
deep
Jim
breath,
Reviews.
clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to
For a
imagine
microsecond, I
yourself
thought it
living
was
as
actually
Jim,
saying my
sleeping and
name.
waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? Jim. See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name the button says. But no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Aw. I like the Jim button. No more Jim button. Alright, what else do we
Maybe I'll
got
only
here?
let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Whoa, I haven't heard that sound in forever. Did you guys hear that? I think that was on purpose. They were triggering us. Jump circle and infinite hole. So we already know about jump circle. That was included in the deluxe. You heard Jim in the game. The button that says Jim. They actually changed the name. There's merch. I saw the new content. This shirt is the best new feature. Reassurance bucket. Okay, I guess we'll check out the reassurance bucket and then we'll move on to over there. Looks like there's more stuff. Wait, what is this? Office deck. And we'll look here.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Get well someday. And happy 12th birthday, Stephanie's. This one's vague enough. It works for everyone.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy
Okay.
12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Okay. Well,
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
okay. Also, like it says no screenshots actually. Let me try to take a screenshot, see what happens. How do you take screenshots again in Steam? Because I bet you if I take a screenshot here, something will happen. F12, okay. I did it. Okay, I thought he would get mad, but I guess he didn't care. Oh wait, hang on. We almost forgot the reassurance bucket.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered
Really?
a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me
But I can't hold
than
it.
actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Oh, there we go. Why did you laugh like that?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Okay. I just have a bucket now. I just realized the game could be played
Does
with
anyone
just a
give out awards
mouse.
for most
Just right-click
enjoyable
moves you.
bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
New plus easy achievement. Oh hell yeah, let's get that. It just works. I can't believe it's that simple. Where's my free achievement? Pull the lever, receive your new achievement, no more steps. Okay.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Awesome.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still
What?
fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but
Come
I
on
guarantee
now.
it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
I want it. Give me. Come on. What a ripoff. Thought I was gonna get a new achievement.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
Collectibles. What's this? Jump circle this map free achievement, which wasn't free. Merge settings world champion. I missed that. Epilogue collectibles infinite hole. Let's see collectible. Can you find them? Whoa.
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's
Really?
truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
That's Stanley. We did it. 1 of 6. Whoa. Where are the other 5? They're not on the pause.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Oh. Concrete contemplation. Exit. I don't think we want to go to the exit just yet. Let's try out the infinite hole first. What is this? Oh, that's the decor. Hole like infinity, time like infinity, space like. Yep, that's a hole. It just keeps going. How deep can we dig? The holy moly, the answer will mildly surprise you.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Why'd you put a top to? I feel like this might be an ending if I jump down that hole. But it's not the exit. I feel like they want to trick us like that. I don't know, we'll see. Screw it.
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue on.
Oh. Now we have a teleport button?
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
This isn't an infinite hole, is it?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
Oh.
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants
a bunch
to
of
fall
cigarettes.
infinitely? I figured the hole was as
Discarded.
deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem.
Just the two of
Look,
us.
things got a little
We
heated
can
there. I think
make
we
it
both
if we
said some
try.
things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite?
Okay.
If that works for
Give
you,
me an achievement
then
and
go
I'll
ahead
agree.
and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Alright, guess.
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you... Oh, for heaven...
You see? I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person would have said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where...
Well, that was fast.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability in marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length. Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter. Well, there it is.
Oh.
The shame of my lie has come to haunt me.
It's just a
Not only is the
medium-sized hole
not
now.
infinite, but it's barely even a hole at this point. It's more of a concavity, or even a very aggressive divot. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
It's not working.
Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working just a moment ago. Try it again. Still nothing? Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
What?
You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley.
Wait, I didn't get to see the
I hope
exit.
You and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Whoa. Hello? Uh-oh. If only we could jump. Change my perspective. Oh, what the heck? Huh. That's Stanley. Perception. Oh. What the heck? Ugh.
Stanley?
Error.
Stanley! Stanley!
Oh,
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodlepip.
so I was just daydreaming that whole time? Whoa. Is it happening again? Oh. Oh, good, we're back here.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Maybe the free achievement. Wait, that's not the free. Maybe the free achievement will work this time. Mostly infinite hold. Fine, it ended. Alright, guess we'll just go to the exit then. Oh, the jump circle. But there's no jumps
You
remaining.
know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Oh. Guess that just leaves the exit. About time they install the proper exit.
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
Yes. This.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement.
There's a hole.
Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much
Kevin.
enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect.
Tasteful.
With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But
I
it would
can
need
actually
a really,
play this while
really
Kevin's on my
tremendous
lap.
title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Did it. We unlocked the Stanley Parable 2. Whoa. I always knew we were capable of it. This is way better than just an Ultra Deluxe. I'm curious to see where the video goes in the title screen. Alright, I guess we're gonna try it out now. Jump? Jumping doesn't work. Alright, let's do it. Stanley Parable 2.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was
balloons?
employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day,
Did you see the
something
new
very peculiar
balloons?
happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Added just for the
Something
Stanley
he would never
Parable
quite
2.
forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
The bucket.
Stanley picked up the bucket.
It's here. That means the collectibles have got to be around here somewhere too. I might have missed one already. I think your door shuts as soon as you leave the room. Sorry, I'm petting Kevin. Good, Bubba.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Hey, the new content door isn't there anymore, I just realized. Because he abandoned that.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Have you got enough pets yet, Kevin?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's
Stanley
office.
and the bucket. Hey, look!
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
That.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Oh
His
no, I
boss
think
would
I know
he
what
was
this
crazy.
ending is.
And then, something occurred to Stanley.
Oh, maybe not.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
No, this is...
He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. Well, that's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special
They're everywhere.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Ow.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out. This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Yep.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course he'd gone mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work, for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
There she... That was like a remix of one of the endings from the base game. I remember that. I think there's also an ending if you just never leave your room.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Where's my
Stanley
bucket
decided to
at?
go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, there it is.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
Oh, we will not say he kicked the bucket. I don't remember that part.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, we'll do the door on the
This
right.
was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Dusk has
But
kept
Stanley
asking
had felt
for
the
it.
bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
Wait.
Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Blueprints.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Why is the bucket telling me to do these things? Oh, we better not jump off the cargo lift.
Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Can't believe the bucket's just controlling us like this.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Why does it sound
Stanley
like...
once again obeyed blindly.
Why does it sound like that one guy from the IT crowd? Or the IT crowd, or however you...
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Yeah, Moss.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket.
What?
Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Whoa, where am I? I'm in an apartment. Press I to take me to work with you? Whoa.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Press F to take me back home.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk.
We're living our
All
life.
it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Don't listen to the loud man.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Press G to ignore anyone in your life except for me. To me.
It's sad. I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
You believe I'm real, don't you, Stanley? Well, the bucket hasn't steered me wrong yet, has it?
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Relive the same day with me over and over.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no. I'm having feelings. For the bucket.
Uh-oh.
No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps
have a framed
if I had
picture of the
this would be
bucket.
less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or
Close
I'll...
your eyes. I think the narrator is getting a little obsessed with the bucket. Go back to work, Stan. Okay.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
It looks normal to me. Oh no, the... should I take the bucket? I feel like I should leave the bucket. We've had enough time with the bucket. We're waiting in.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
What is it? Place, the weeks. I could barely.
Yes,
almost
really worth it being here in the room.
What is it about this
so
place?
utterly captivating that even though
The
all your
weeks
co-workers
I've
have
spent
mysteriously
here,
vanished,
they
here you sit
feel
looking
like
at these
mere
chairs and some
seconds.
paintings. Really worth it.
Also, I'm hungry. I could like just barely read all that.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Oh. Who doesn't like the employee lounge room?
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Send me the message, game. I'm ready. Go on. He's not gonna send me another message. Alright, I guess we just gotta move on.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Uh-oh.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here, it's, left.
Evan, don't be a crybaby. I gave you so many pets.
Oh, no. No, it's to the right. My mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh, dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Oh. Okay. Oh, this room.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Well, now I'm curious, because,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
where's
missed
my
a memo.
bucket? There isn't even a bucket option. We lost all our progress.
When Stanley... Wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you?
I didn't do
I'm the one who
nothing.
wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story. I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can
Yeah,
promise you there definitely was a story here before.
Give me a minute.
Do we need to restart the game again?
No, we don't
Look, I
have to
find
do
it
that.
unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Wait.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Uh-oh.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Someone spilled their coffee. Evan.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Uh-oh.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
We did it!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win.
Yeah, I did.
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Alright. Piece of cake.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Hell yeah. Sounds like a Rareware game on the N64.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern.
What fern? This?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Oh.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Ugh, you can't keep restarting.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Which direction? Oh.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
We're going in circles. Oh, we were going in circles. The heck? You actually get it back out of it. Okay.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Good left.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin.
This door
So starting
lets
from
me
the
try.
right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going?
Only the
And
left
since
door.
the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
So, because this one lets you try to open it, that it was the fake door. Now I know the trick. What the?
Oh, hold up, what's this? The
Uh-oh.
confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Whoop.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
Okay,
go
it
to
restarted.
the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, I think this is a good place to end it for now. I think we got a good amount of endings. We checked out a lot of the new content. We were starting to run into endings from the base game, I can tell. I think I remembered this one we just did. We'll probably play this again at some point. But for now, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you all for joining, and have a good night.